Welcome to the Fearlessly Fertile Podcast, episode 306, The Smart Woman's Approach to What If It Doesn't Work? Hey, loves, I'm so excited to be here with you this week because we are starting off 2025. Can you believe it? It's a brand new year. This is an opportunity for a brand new you as you approach your fertility journey. And I wanted to start this year off with you like going wonderfully nuclear. I want to get to the heart of this so that you can start looking downrange at this year with a completely different perspective. And one of the things that I hear from women all over the world, it doesn't matter how long they've been on this journey, how many times I've told them otherwise and ways to think about it, we all come back to this question of what if it doesn't work? So I want you to have a much smarter approach to this question than the average bear. And it actually really starts with that first piece. So step number one is you have to start from a place other than average. This is so critically important because the average person runs from a challenge, okay? It's funny. I was having a conversation with one of my dearest OG miracle mamas today, and we were talking about this. We were talking about the movie A Bug's Life and how that's really a metaphor for how we live as people. Most of us go through our lives as worker ants. We just go get food for the big bugs, okay? Like the big scary bugs. We just work, we just do what we're told. We never challenge the narrative. But when it comes to creating real success for yourself on this journey, I mean, if you know anything about the Fearlessly Fertile podcast, we have well over 300 episodes. Everything about this podcast is delightfully disruptive. Because you can go to anywhere and go and hear sad stories, read the sad statistics about your likelihood of getting and staying pregnant and beating the odds. But everything I stand for, based on my journey and the work that I have done with women all over the world on 6 of 7 continents, is about disrupting the idea that you're too old, it's too late, you've tried too many times, you're a fucking failure, you missed the boat, you're too much, you're too greedy for wanting to be a mom. So inherently, when this question of what if it doesn't work comes up, you can't afford to think like the average worker ant. Okay, you have to think like a big fucking bug. All right, a big bug has their eyes, or 8 eyes, set on something much larger. So you can't fuck around with this question from the perspective of average, right? Think about your own life. I bet you can think about somebody right now that you know that they'll try something 2, maybe a max of 3 times, and then they just fucking give up. And they'll tell themselves the scam of a story that it wasn't meant for them. Okay? Like, just watch. Like, if you do nothing else with this, observe the people in your life right now who will try something a few times and then give up and say, it's not worth it. It wasn't meant for me. Shit, I didn't want it anyway. Right? It's such an easy thing to slip into because most people are not up for a challenge. But if you are on this journey, welcome to the jungle, baby. You are in a challenge. And the question that I get all the time is like, how do these women do it? It's because they don't fucking give up. They don't run in the face of a challenge. So in this first step, in really reevaluating and starting to think like a really smart woman when it comes to the question of what if it doesn't work, you cannot think of it from the average mindset. Most people are defeatist. You cannot be that. If you want to be an outlier, if you want to be a miracle mama, if you want to be fertile as fuck, you cannot afford to think like the average person. Smart women just don't do that. You have to think differently, and that's part of being smart. So number one, in this new approach to what if it doesn't work, You have to start from above average. Okay, I know there's going to be some motherfucker out there that's going to say, it sounds really elitist, Roseanne. Okay, so what? I don't care. It is fucking elitist. All right. If it needs to be elitist for you to feel good about yourself, then fine. It can be elitist. While me and my miracle mamas are over there holding our babies. Okay. I'm being very direct about this because I am speaking directly to your sabotage pattern. I am speaking directly to your saboteur. And I also know that the big bugs typically want women to be subjugated and want women to think small because if we get too big, we become uncontrollable. So if you're going to take anything from point number one, be a big fucking bug. All right? Be a big bug. The second thing about this different approach to what if it doesn't work is it implies inherently, like, what if it doesn't work? Think about that question. What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work implies destination thinking, that if something doesn't work, you're stuck there. That's not true. All something not working out means is that particular instance didn't work. It doesn't mean anything about your future. But that's kind of the evil in this question, what if it doesn't work? Is this destination idea that once you've tried something, if it doesn't work, then that must mean something other than it just didn't work. You have to stop it. All that it means is that particular opportunity did not work out the way that you wanted it to, okay? That's all that it means. And you have to be smarter than just getting stuck when something doesn't quite work out. You have to be more resourceful than that. You also have to get out of this destination thinking that there is a there. They call this the fertility journey for a fucking reason. It is a process. You are calling in a life. And, it just drives me crazy when I think about this because you have to be smarter than destination thinking, right? And for those that don't know what destination thinking is it's like, I'll be happy when I get to this place, or if I can just get to this place, I'll be happy. No, you won't. Life goes on from there. And this is also what I think fuels this idea. I just can't catch a break. Roseanne, I just can't catch a break. Nothing's working out for me. It's super victimy. So at the core of this second point is you have to get out of this destination thinking. The situation on your fertility journey by its very nature is fluid. Okay. All this means, if something doesn't work out, it just hasn't worked out this time. Or this means by which you are trying is not working currently under the current conditions. Okay? It doesn't mean anything other than it didn't work out this time. Okay? That's point number 2. Point number 3 is you have to be open to being more, okay? You have to be open to the next move. You always have another move. And I know that some of you listening will not accept this because there is, I don't know what kind of mental disease this is, but there's just, it is so pervasive out there in the world. People say, oh, this is my last chance. This is my last opportunity. Says who? I'm going to try this one more time. Really? Really? What is that about? And who's making up that rule? Like, really stop and think about this, because when you get into that myopic view of your own life and your opportunities in this life, you necessarily box yourself in. And whenever like somebody says to me, well, what if it doesn't work? I know that they're in this third point. They have boxed themselves in. They are giving themselves a limited number of opportunities. Let me remind you, ladies, we're talking about the miracle of fucking life. And what did I say in point number 2? The situation is fluid by its very nature. So all of these arbitrary limits that we put on ourselves, oh, this is my last chance, or my insurance only covers 3. Are you fucking kidding me? You are going to let the number of opportunities that you have to try for this baby be determined by a fucking insurance company who does not give 2 fucks about whether or not you're happy, or in some cases, whether you're dead or alive. Think about that. Think about the license and agency that you have in your life. When you make the decision, you always have a move. Who gives a shit if you are paying out of pocket? This is your fucking life. What else are you going to pay for? Right? Like, this is like, I don't have a lot of tolerance for this nonsense. And I say this with so much love. It's not from a place of judgment. It's from a place of, wake the fuck up, ladies. We're talking about your baby. Okay? So when we are breaking this down and we're looking at how does a smart woman approach this question of what if it doesn't work, this third point is critical. Be open to your next move. Challenge the limitations that you have put on yourself about where you're stopping, okay? Because ultimately the thing that unites all of this is a sub-question. It's a question that I like to ask women who are giving me this garbage of, I'm only going to try 3 times and then it's all fucking made up, and it's typically fueled by fear. But this question is the antidote. How bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough to keep going? Do you want it bad enough to push past the confines of average people and average thinking to create above average and outlier results? That's how smart women approach what if this doesn't work. And frankly, and we'll get to this, smart women aren't actually asking this question. Okay, that's probably the underlying message that you've been picking up a little bit as we go on. But I mean, spoiler alert, that's actually the thing that's going on in the background, is like, really, how bad do you want it? Do you want this baby bad enough to blow past the limits that your arbitrary insurance company that is in the business of making money, and there's nothing wrong with making money, but their interests are not yours, okay? Especially on matters of the heart. And that's what this is. You want this baby from the neck down. It's not a neck up proposition. So be willing to change your approach. Take a different route. You have to be willing to take full responsibility, and that means that you're willing to do whatever the fuck it takes. Now, the fourth thing that I want to share with you that makes everything that I'm sharing with you here the smart woman's approach is because you always have another move, because you are in control of what things mean, and you believe you're worth every step that you're taking on this journey. So let me say this again. Smart women approach the question of what if this doesn't work from the perspective that they always have another move, which is point 3, and that they love themselves enough to do whatever the fuck it takes. Now, if you want more information on that latter point of loving yourself enough to do whatever the fuck it takes, go to episode 304, where I talk about the smartest promise you'll ever keep. Because at the end of the day, whether you get to the end of your journey with a baby on your hip and a smile on your face, there is only one person that's going to decide that. And that's you. Not your partner, not your doctor, not your friends, not your family, not your colleagues, not your insurance company. Ultimately, it's up to you. And here's why. Because this desire in your heart to be a mom, I 100%, and look, you get to be in disagreement with me. You don't have to agree with me here, but I would strongly encourage you to get on board with this, because the more that you do, the more likely it is that you will beat the odds. But I honestly believe that the desire in your heart to be a mom is there because not only was it meant for you, but God, universe, source put this in your heart because it was meant for you. That means that you God, universe, source, Allah, whatever the hell you want to call your higher power. That's a beautiful thing. But this longing in your heart is not some selfish thing. It's part of your life's purpose. It's part of why you're here. It's the whisper of the universe moving through you. It's your higher consciousness. It's your highest self. It's the voice of God speaking through this desire, coming straight through your heart. Because think about it. I know that when the statistics are not in your favor, your lab results are all fucked up, it may not feel that way. But this is why we feel such conflict on this journey, because we're battling between what we know in our heart and the fucking bullshit that we're fed in our head from a system that is not geared for us to win. And that's not a victim statement. That is an invitation for you to get the fuck out of the system and start thinking like a smart woman. Start rejecting all of these limitations, these arbitrary age limits, weight limits, who you have to be treated by this clinic. No, you go find another one. It's part of taking responsibility for your life. A smart woman does not waste her fucking time with what if this doesn't work. She is focused on her next move. She is focused on other things. Being resourceful, thinking of different ways, moving beyond the artificial limitations put in front of her by somebody else. Smart women are their own authority. Smart women listen to their heart. Smart women trust and have faith that the higher power that's speaking through their heart is never wrong. Now, the thing about that is there's no guarantee that the road is easy, but it is simple. Keep going. Follow your heart. And if you want my help, my Fearlessly Fertile Method program has helped women all over the world make their dream of being a mom come true. If you want to be the woman that gets the fuck out of what if this doesn't work, go to my website, www.frommaybe2baby.com, and apply for an interview there. My methodology has helped women around the world make their mom dreams come true, and their results speak for themselves. If you don't have a mindset for success in this journey, baby, you got a gaping hole in your strategy. Let's fix that shit and set you up for success. And I got to tell you, mama, Happy New Year. I can already feel it in my bones that 2025 is going to be a banner year in the Fearlessly Fertile community. I have the intention that over the course of the next 10 years, I'm going to help 100,000 women have 100,000 babies. Make the decision that you're next. Till next time, change your mindset, change your results.
Love this episode of the Fearlessly Fertile podcast? Subscribe now and leave an awesome review. Remember, the desire in your heart to be a mom is there because it was meant for you. When it comes to your dreams, keep saying hell yes.